Must watch. My teen alien roommate tries human breeding for the first time. The morning sun stretched across the quiet suburban street, casting long shadows over neatly trimmed lawns. Inside apartment 3B, a soft beeping sound echoed through the kitchen. Kale, a teenage alien from the planet Violia, tilted his head at the strange human device. His large violet eyes scanned the buttons, each labeled with symbols he barely recognized. "Toast," Kale murmured, touching a lever with one clawed finger. A loud pop made him jump, and a brown rectangle flew into the air, landing perfectly in the toaster's tray. Kale's antennae quivered. "Fascinating. Humans use fire to cook bread." Across the room, 16-year-old Max laughed, sipping his orange juice. "Yeah, sort of. It's called a toaster, and that's breakfast. You know, humans eat it every morning." Kale turned toward Max, his voice slightly trembling. "Every morning, you consume this carbon-baked plant matter daily," Max shrugged. "Some of us don't overthink it, it's just toast." Kale picked up the toast, inspecting it from all angles as if it were a complex Violian artifact. Carefully, he took a small bite. His eyes widened. "Hot, crunchy, sweet, and yet not alive. How delightful." Max chuckled. "You'll get used to it." "So ready for your first full day in human high school?" Kale froze. "School, right. The place humans exchange knowledge through oral and written transmissions." "Yes. You sit in classes, learn stuff, and meet people," Max said. He paused. "But don't freak out. Humans can be weird." Kale tilted his head, antennas twitching. "Weird, like physically dangerous or socially unpredictable," Max grinned. "A little of both sometimes, but mostly just strange habits." The two made their way outside. The morning air smelled faintly of cut grass and exhaust fumes. Kale's senses overwhelmed him. Every sound seemed amplified. The bark of a dog, the whir of a passing car, the chatter of other teens. He could feel the vibrations in his skin. He didn't understand why humans didn't seem to notice. "Wow, sensory overload," Kale whispered. "How do humans survive this constant bombardment?" Max laughed. "We get used to it. You will too, eventually." At the high school entrance, Kale hesitated. Groups of students chatted, laughed, and carried heavy backpacks. He noticed they all had strange expressions, almost as if communicating through their faces alone. Kale's translator clicked softly in his ear. "Social cues detected. Interpret facial muscles for meaning." A girl with bright red hair waved at Max. "Hey, Max," Max waved back. "Kale, meet Jenny and Mia. They're friendly, don't worry." Kale raised his hand, carefully mimicking Max's wave. "Greetings, I am Kale, interstellar exchange student from Violia." Jenny blinked. "Cool, welcome to Earth." Kale bowed deeply, his long cloak brushing the floor. "It is an honor to observe your planetary traditions." Max chuckled under his breath. "Just call it school. You'll be fine. First class was history." Kale took a seat, scanning the room with his multifaceted vision. Posters covered the walls, filled with humans he did not recognize. The teacher, Mr. Hargrove, began speaking, and Kale strained to understand every word. He typed notes furiously into his translator pad. "So these humans fought each other for land, resources," Kale whispered to Max. Max nodded. "Yep, humans can be kind of violent sometimes, but mostly they're curious, clever, and resilient." Kale's antennae twitched. "Curious, clever, resilient? Yes, I'm beginning to see why some humans are impressive." During lunch, Kale observed a strange ritual. Students opening small rectangular objects, pulling out thin sheets of paper and folding them into various shapes. Some chewed on plant matter, others exchanged liquids from colored containers. Kale tentatively unwrapped his sandwich. "What is this peanut butter and jelly combination?" he asked. Max grinned. "Classic. Humans invented it a long time ago. Just try it." Kale carefully took a bite. The flavors exploded in his mouth, sweet, salty, smooth, and sticky. His eyes went wide. I have never experienced this combination in Violia. It is pleasurable." Max laughed. "See, I told you humans had some cool things. Kale's curiosity didn't end there. He noticed students laughing at small gestures, forming groups based on shared interests. He tried to mimic their behavior, joining a conversation about a strange human sport called basketball. At first, his coordination failed horribly, sending the ball flying into a nearby locker. Students laughed, not cruelly but warmly. "You'll get the hang of it," said a tall boy with messy hair, tossing the ball back. "Don't worry about being perfect." Kale tilted his head. "Being imperfect, yet accepted. Fascinating. Humans have a tolerance for trial and error." Max nudged him. "Exactly. That's part of being human. You try, you fail, you learn. And people respect effort." After classes ended, Kale followed Max to the local arcade. The bright lights and noisy machines caused his senses to overload again. He observed humans manipulating objects with their fingers, pulling levers, pressing buttons, and cheering when something on a screen changed. "What is this, ritual?" Kale asked. Max grinned. "It's called a video game. Humans compete, have fun, and sometimes celebrate tiny victories." Kale tried a racing game, his three-fingered hands moving clumsily on the controls. The screen showed a virtual car spinning out of control. Students around him laughed and cheered. Kale paused, scanning their faces. "They are not hostile despite my repeated failures. Remarkable, they encourage one another even when the outcome is suboptimal." "Yes, humans like that," Max said. "We cheer for effort, not just success." Kale's mind was racing. Effort over outcome. I must catalog this behavior. It may be superior to Virelian methods of learning. As the sun set, painting the sky in orange and purple streaks, Kale and Max returned to apartment 3B. Kale's notebook was filled with observations, human sensory habits, social behaviors, culinary preferences, and recreational activities. Max collapsed on the couch. "Long day, huh?" Kale nodded. "Indeed, humans are complex, yet surprisingly coherent. I must admit, I enjoy learning about your species. My data sets now contain over 75 anomalies and unique traits observed today alone." Max laughed. "Well, tomorrow's another day, and trust me, you haven't seen anything yet." Kale stared out the window at the suburban skyline. For the first time since arriving on Earth, he felt something strange, a sensation he could not name. It was not fear, hunger, or curiosity. It was excitement. The anticipation of learning more, of experiencing new things and perhaps fitting in. "Yes," Kale whispered to himself, "I will understand humans, one habit at a time, and perhaps I may even contribute something from Virelia that they have never imagined." As the lights dimmed and the night settled over the city, Kale's large violet eyes reflected the glow of the street lamps. Somewhere deep inside, a spark of connection had ignited, between alien and human, between curiosity and understanding, and between two roommates who were about to change each other's worlds forever. Tomorrow, Kale thought, will be extraordinary. The next morning, the apartment felt alive with energy. Kale had barely slept, his mind racing with observations from the previous day. Every object, sound, and scent in the apartment seemed new, full of information to catalog. He was determined to understand humans and perhaps even teach them something from Virelia. Max entered the kitchen, yawning. "Morning, Kale. Ready for day 2 of high school chaos?" Kale's antennae twitched with excitement. "Absolutely. Yesterday was fascinating. Today I must observe social dynamics more closely." Max laughed. "Social dynamics? Just talk to people, Kale. You'll be fine." Kale studied the breakfast table. A bowl of cereal sat in front of him, floating in milk like strange white planets. Carefully, he poured it into his mouth using a spoon, noting the crunch, the sweetness, and the cooling sensation. "Interesting. Humans consume solids in a liquid matrix for ease of digestion or taste enhancement," Max smirked. "Something like that." "You're really analyzing everything." Kale nodded solemnly. "Observation is critical to understanding humans. Each habit may reveal evolutionary advantages or social significance. Walking to school, Kale noticed more nuances about human behavior. People greeted each other with waves, nods, or verbal expressions. Some smiled while talking, others frowned when ignoring others. Each gesture seemed to carry multiple layers of meaning, and Kale's translator worked overtime to decode them. At school, Kale decided to approach a group of students sitting under a tree. They were laughing over something written on a notebook. "Greetings," Kale said, bowing slightly. "I am Kale, interstellar exchange student. May I join your gathering?" The students blinked at him, unsure what to make of the strange newcomer. Then one of them, a boy with glasses, smiled. Sure, I'm Liam. That's Zoe and Carlos. Sit down." Kale lowered himself to the ground, careful not to touch anyone's personal space. "Your interactions are rich with vocal and facial modulation. Fascinating," Zoe giggled. "You talk funny, but you're not rude, that's good." Carlos leaned forward. "So, Kale, what's your planet like?" Kale's eyes gleamed. Violia is a planet of violet skies and crystalline forests. Our society emphasizes knowledge and precision. Emotions are present but often secondary to logic and learning. I am curious how humans integrate emotion into everyday life. Liam leaned back, intrigued. "Sounds complicated, but humans kind of just feel first and figure out the rest." Kale processed this. "Feel first, adapt second. Intriguing approach. Perhaps it explains your species' creative endeavors and resilience." The group laughed, welcoming Kale more fully. For the first time, he felt a small but meaningful connection, an understanding that humans could accept differences without suspicion. Later in gym class, Kale faced an entirely new challenge: basketball. Max had warned him yesterday, but now the sport loomed large before him. The ball felt awkward in his hands, and his long legs made quick movements difficult. Kale tried to dribble, but the ball bounced unpredictably. Students rushed past him, and he found himself tangled in the chaos. For a moment, frustration surged, an unfamiliar human emotion that Kale had read about but never truly felt. Then Max called out, "Kale, just keep moving. Don't worry about mistakes." Kale paused, taking in Max's encouragement. Slowly, he adapted. Instead of trying to mimic perfectly, he focused on timing and movement. By the end of the period, he had scored a small point, earning cheers from classmates. His violet eyes sparkled with excitement. "Effort leads to achievement," Kale whispered to himself. "Humans value resilience even over innate ability. Remarkable." During lunch, Kale observed more social rituals. Students shared food, swapped stories, and teased each other in a friendly manner. Kale tried mimicking small jokes, carefully studying reactions. Some were successful, some failed spectacularly, but no one seemed to mind. "This is human bonding," Kale noted. "Through shared humor and experience, relationships are strengthened." Max leaned over. "Exactly. Humans thrive on connection." Even the smallest gestures, like joking, sharing, or helping, mean a lot. Kale considered this. "On Violia, communication is often precise and functional. I see now that humans use subtlety and emotion to convey meaning. Perhaps this is a superior method in fostering group cohesion." In science class, Kale's curiosity shifted to experiments. The teacher demonstrated chemical reactions, and Kale watched with rapt attention. His Violian knowledge of molecular structures allowed him to predict outcomes accurately, but he noticed how humans responded emotionally to surprises. "When humans are surprised," Kale whispered to Max, "they exhibit joy, curiosity, and sometimes fear simultaneously. This response enhances engagement and memory retention." Max smirked. "You're basically a human lab rat, but in reverse. You're learning about us while showing us how smart aliens can be." After school, Max took Kale to a park. Humans were running, playing frisbee, and walking dogs. Kale crouched to examine the movements of a sprinting child, noting muscle coordination, balance, and reflexes. "Human locomotion is Inefficient yet adaptive, Kale remarked. The unpredictability of terrain and variable forces is countered by instinctual adjustments. Your species is quite resilient physically. A frisbee sailed past Kale's head. Without thinking, he lunged and caught it, an impressive move that drew cheers from the nearby players. Kale's heart, another human trait he was beginning to notice, beat faster with exhilaration. "You're a natural," one of the teens exclaimed. Kale tilted his head. Natural or learned through observation and rapid adaptation. Either way, humans embrace challenge with enthusiasm. This is inspiring. That evening, back at the apartment, Kale carefully recorded every observation. His notebook overflowed with sketches, notes, and diagrams, human gestures, social interactions, and even leisure activities. He paused for a moment, looking at Max, who was scrolling through his phone casually. "You are extraordinary," Kale said softly. "Despite the chaos and unpredictability, humans create joy, connection, and achievement. Your species is remarkable." Max blinked. "Thanks, Kale. You're learning fast, and you see humans in a way most of us don't." Kale tilted his head, considering. "Perhaps your emotional complexity combined with creativity and resilience may surpass purely logical societies. I may learn more than I anticipated." They ate dinner in silence for a while, the only sounds the clinking of cutlery and occasional laughter. Kale considered trying more human rituals, music, games, and storytelling, but his translator warned him that humans often react unpredictably to attempts at humor. "I must attempt humor," Kale said. "It is a critical human social tool." Max laughed. "You mean jokes? Go for it, Kale. Worst case, they groan and move on." Kale thought for a moment. He tapped his clawed fingers together, choosing carefully. "Why did the carbon-based life form cross the open space between 2 points? To optimize path efficiency." Max snorted, unable to contain his laughter. "Not bad, Kale. That's very you, but it's funny." Kale's antennae twitched in satisfaction. Observation. Human humor is tolerant of difference and appreciates novelty, even if unconventional. Excellent. Before bedtime, Kale gazed out the window at the city skyline. The sun had dipped completely, leaving the streets glowing with streetlights. He reflected on the day. Humans were messy. Humans were chaotic. They made mistakes, got frustrated, and sometimes acted illogically. Yet, Kale felt something stronger than logic or observation. He felt admiration and unexpectedly affection for this species. "They are unpredictable yet resilient," Kale whispered. "Flawed yet capable of profound creativity. Perhaps humans are not merely a species to study. Perhaps they are allies, partners, or even friends." Max, brushing his teeth nearby, called out, "Kale, lights out soon. Tomorrow's gonna be another adventure." Kale turned back to the window. Adventure. Yes, that word captured it perfectly. Tomorrow, he would attempt new human activities, interact with more humans, and continue decoding the beauty of their species. He felt anticipation coursing through him, a distinctly human-like excitement. As he settled into bed, Kale's mind replayed moments from the day. Laughter, small victories, and the warmth of friendship. He realized something important: being human, or at least understanding humans, was not about perfection. It was about connection, curiosity, and embracing the unknown. And Kale was ready. The next morning, sunlight spilled through the blinds, warming apartment 3B. Kale sat cross-legged on the floor, staring at a small rectangular device Max had handed him. It emitted sounds and lights that flickered in patterns he did not fully understand. "This is a music player?" Kale asked, turning it over in his hands. Max nodded. "Yeah. Humans use it for songs, rhythms, and feelings. Music is a big part of human life." Kale's antennae quivered in curiosity. "Feelings transmitted through auditory vibrations. Fascinating. I must observe and analyze immediately." He pressed a button. A bright, repetitive rhythm filled the room. Kale's eyes widened, antennae twitching to the beat. It was strange, alien even, yet somehow comforting. He tapped his claws in time with the rhythm, then tried clapping, a sound humans called applause. Max laughed. "You're a natural. You don't even need instructions." Kale tilted his head. "Observing humans, they express energy, emotion, and cooperation through coordinated sound. My data collection is already enriched." After breakfast, the pair headed to school. Today, Kale had decided to explore human extracurricular activities. Posters for clubs covered the hallways: chess, robotics, drama, and music. Kale's eyes glowed as he scanned the options. "Clubs, social gatherings focused on shared interests," Kale whispered. "A perfect opportunity to understand human collaboration and creativity." Max guided him toward the science club. "You'll fit right in here, Kale. Everyone loves science and experiments." Inside the lab, humans were constructing small robotic devices, testing movements and adjusting tiny circuits. Kale approached carefully, observing each student's technique. "Hello," Kale said, bowing slightly. "I am Kale, interstellar exchange student. May I participate?" A girl with a braid smiled warmly. "Of course, I'm Emma. We're building a small rover to explore the playground terrain. You can help with calculations." Kale's mind whirred. He quickly processed the mechanical components, predicting movement, balance, and energy usage. He suggested adjustments, and the rover navigated a tricky obstacle course flawlessly. The group cheered. "Wow, you're amazing," Emma exclaimed. Kale's antennae twitched in satisfaction. "Observation. Humans value contribution and initiative. Even minor improvements are celebrated. Emotional reinforcement strengthens group cohesion." Next, Kale attended a music club. He observed students practicing different instruments: strings, percussion, and wind. Each sound combined into a complex harmony. Kale attempted to play a small keyboard. At first, his fingers stumbled, pressing wrong notes. Max encouraged him. "Don't worry, Kale, just follow the rhythm and have fun." Kale adjusted. Slowly, he learned to mimic the patterns, creating simple but pleasant melodies. The students nodded in approval. Kale realized that human music was more than sound. It was a form of communication, of shared emotion and creativity. Later, in the school cafeteria, Kale observed more human dining rituals. Some students shared food, others traded small items called snacks. Kale experimented with combining flavors in ways humans had not yet discovered, creating a surprisingly tasty mixture of peanut butter, honey, and fruit slices. "You've got a talent for this," Max said. "Humans love creativity with food," Kale nodded. "Experimentation enhances sensory experience and strengthens social bonds. Observation, humans reward novelty." After lunch, Max suggested they try a new adventure: community volunteering. Kale was intrigued. Humans often work together to improve their environment or help others, a behavior he found fascinating. They arrived at a small community garden. Humans worked together, planting seeds, watering young plants, and repairing small structures. Kale studied their coordination carefully. "Observe," Max said. "Humans use cooperation, communication, and problem-solving to achieve common goals. They are adaptable and resourceful." Kale knelt beside a plot, carefully planting seeds in rows. Despite his alien physiology, his precision and careful calculations made the work efficient. A nearby human girl observed him. "You're really good at that," she said. Kale tilted his head. "Thank you." Observation. Humans acknowledge skill through verbal praise. Encouragement reinforces positive behavior. By late afternoon, Kale had made several new acquaintances. He realized that humans not only tolerated differences, they celebrated them. Individual strengths contributed to collective success, whether in music, robotics, or gardening. Kale found this principle profoundly admirable. After volunteering, Kale and Max walked through the town square. Humans bustled around markets, street performers played music, and children chased each other in games. Kale's senses were alive with colors, sounds, and smells. Humans thrive in dynamic environments, Kale murmured. Their capacity to adapt, cooperate, and experience joy in chaos remarkable. Max laughed. You sound like a nature documentary sometimes, but yeah, humans are weird and amazing. As evening approached, Max invited Kale to his family's home for a game night. Kale had watched humans play games before, but this would be his first full experience of friendly competition combined with social bonding. Kale observed the family gathering, laughter, playful teasing, and collective problem-solving. Humans played board games, card games, and puzzles. Each activity required strategy, creativity, and collaboration. Kale joined in, initially making mistakes but gradually learning the rules. When he succeeded, even in small ways, the family cheered. Kale realized humans not only celebrated success, they celebrated effort, persistence, and engagement. This is extraordinary, Kale whispered to Max. Humans reinforce learning through positive reinforcement, emotional support, and shared experiences. Such methods promote rapid adaptation and social cohesion. Max smiled. See, it's not just about winning. It's about having fun, connecting, and growing together. Later, as they walked home under a sky sprinkled with stars, Kale's mind replayed the day's experiences. Music, robotics, volunteering, and games. All human activities had a deeper purpose than he had anticipated. They encouraged creativity, resilience, and social bonds. They are flawed, Kale thought. They make mistakes, act unpredictably, and sometimes behave illogically. Yet their imperfections create opportunities for growth, learning, and connection. Humans are truly remarkable. Back at the apartment, Kale sat by the window sketching patterns of human interaction. Each gesture, smile, and laugh was recorded in his notebook. Max watched quietly, sipping a soda. "You're really dedicated," Max said. "Most humans don't think about all this stuff. You see our world differently." Kale's violet eyes reflected the city lights. Observation. Human complexity is not merely chaos. It is structured unpredictability. Their species exhibits resilience, curiosity, creativity, and cooperation in ways that are inspiring. Max laughed. "You make humans sound like superheroes." Kale tilted his head. "Perhaps they are. In their imperfections, humans demonstrate extraordinary strength. Their curiosity drives discovery. Their empathy fosters connection. Their creativity transforms the ordinary into the remarkable. Truly, an admirable species." Kale leaned back, contemplating. Tomorrow, he would explore even more human experiences, art, sports tournaments, and perhaps outdoor adventures that tested both his physical and social abilities. For now, he allowed himself a rare moment of rest. The apartment was quiet except for the hum of the city outside. Kale felt something he had not expected when he first arrived on Earth. Not fear, not curiosity, but affection. He cared about humans, not just as subjects of study, but as beings worthy of admiration and friendship. As he closed his notebook, Kale whispered softly, "Tomorrow, the exploration continues, and perhaps I will uncover more reasons why humans are extraordinary." The following morning, Kale awoke with renewed energy. Today felt different. He sensed that he had accumulated enough knowledge about humans to test his understanding in a larger, more public arena. He had seen humans cooperate, create, and play. Now he wanted to contribute, to participate fully, and to demonstrate not only his curiosity but his admiration for the species. Max entered the room, stretching and yawning. "Morning, Kale. Big day today. We have the school fair. There'll be games, competitions, food stalls, performances, the whole human cultural experience." Kale's violet eyes sparkled. A fair, a concentrated hub of human activity, the ultimate opportunity to observe and participate. Excellent. At the fairgrounds, the scene was alive with sound, movement, and color. Humans were everywhere, laughing, playing, creating, and learning. Kale observed carefully, noting every behavior. He noticed subtle social signals, the nods of acknowledgement, the shared laughter, the way humans formed temporary alliances for games. Max pointed to a large sign. "There's a science challenge. Build something that solves a problem. You're perfect for it." Kale's antennae twitched. Problem solving, applied innovation, human engagement. Yes, I must participate. The challenge was to design a small machine to carry objects across a set course. Kale worked quickly, combining his Virelian engineering knowledge with observations of human creativity. He sketched designs, chose materials, and constructed a small robotic carrier. Other students watched with curiosity. Kale's device moved smoothly across the course, adapting to obstacles with precision. The crowd clapped and cheered, and Kale felt a strange thrill, the emotional warmth of human appreciation. "This is exhilarating," Kale whispered. "Humans are capable of celebrating ingenuity and effort. Their reinforcement encourages further experimentation. I admire this species more than I realized." Next, Kale joined a team relay race. At first, his long alien legs and awkward coordination caused some mistakes. He stumbled, nearly losing the baton. But Max shouted, "Focus on rhythm, Kale. Work with your team." Kale adjusted, using observation and timing to coordinate with his teammates. He learned quickly from their movements, mirroring their patterns. The final stretch saw Kale sprinting in perfect sync with the others, crossing the finish line to loud cheers. He realized humans valued not only success, but effort, adaptation, and teamwork. Later, Kale tried a music performance. Students were playing songs in small ensembles. Kale hesitated at first, unsure if he could contribute. But then, remembering what he had learned about rhythm, harmony, and encouragement, he joined a keyboardist and a drummer. At first, mistakes occurred, wrong notes, missed beats, but the humans smiled and encouraged him. Gradually, Kale adapted, producing a simple but pleasant melody. The crowd applauded warmly, and Kale felt a profound connection to the human experience of creation, cooperation, and expression. Afterward, Max led Kale to a food stall. Humans were selling treats, sharing flavors, and experimenting with combinations. Kale applied his earlier culinary experiments and suggested a new snack combination: fruit slices with honey, a sprinkle of spices, and a tiny dollop of whipped cream. The vendor tried it and smiled. "This is delicious. Where did you get the idea?" Kale inclined his head. "Observation and experimentation, a cross-species approach to flavor optimization." Humans nearby tasted it and nodded enthusiastically. Kale realized humans were not only resilient and creative, they celebrated innovation, even from outsiders. As the afternoon sun began to dip, Kale observed a storytelling tent. Humans were sharing tales, myths, and experiences. Kale approached, curious. A boy was telling a story about a heroic animal that saved a village. Kale listened intently. He marveled at the structure of the narrative, the emotional delivery, and the communal experience of listening together. "Humans transmit wisdom, emotion, and social cohesion through storytelling," Kale noted. "Remarkable, a species capable of teaching and inspiring simultaneously." Feeling inspired, Kale stepped forward. "I wish to share a tale from my home planet Virelia," he announced. The humans leaned forward, curious. Kale recounted a story of explorers on Virelia who learned to cooperate despite differences, using observation, logic, and creativity to overcome challenges. He emphasized collaboration, resilience, and curiosity. The audience listened in rapt attention. By the end, they applauded warmly. Kale realized he had not only shared knowledge but also connected emotionally, bridging the gap between worlds. As evening approached, Kale and Max wandered through the fair one last time. Lights glowed, laughter echoed, and humans mingled freely. Kale reflected on everything he had learned: cooperation, creativity, resilience, humor, empathy, and joy. Max nudged him. So, what do you think? Humans aren't so bad, huh? Kale tilted his head. Bad, on the contrary. Humans are remarkable. They embrace imperfection yet achieve extraordinary outcomes. They adapt rapidly, support one another, and celebrate both effort and success. They are resilient, creative, and deeply capable of connection. I admire them profoundly. Max laughed. See, told you humans were amazing. You're starting to sound like a cheerleader for our species. Kale considered this. Perhaps I am. Observation and admiration are not mutually exclusive. My respect is genuine. Their flaws make them more capable of greatness. Back at the apartment, Kale documented the day meticulously. His notebook overflowed with sketches, notes, and reflections. He realized something important. Understanding humans was more than studying habits. It was about experience, participation, and empathy. You cannot fully comprehend a species without engaging with it, Kale whispered. Humans exemplify this principle beautifully. They demonstrate that resilience, creativity, and kindness are not merely traits, they are the essence of their identity. Max watched him quietly. You've learned a lot in just a few days. You might even teach us a thing or two. Kale's eyes glimmered. Indeed, I hope to share insights from Virelia in exchange for your species' extraordinary attributes. Perhaps together, humans and Virelians, or at least one human and one alien, can discover something new. That night, as Kale prepared for sleep, he reflected on his journey. From a cautious observer to an active participant, he had experienced food, school, games, music, teamwork, storytelling, and innovation. Each encounter had reinforced a single truth. Humans, despite their imperfections, were a species worthy of admiration and respect. Kale's antennae twitched as he whispered, "Humans are extraordinary. They inspire curiosity, creativity, and hope. Perhaps one day I may help them see what they themselves cannot yet perceive, the strength, ingenuity, and beauty inherent in their species." Max yawned nearby. "Lights out, Kale. Tomorrow's another day. Who knows what new adventures you'll have?" Kale closed his eyes, feeling a sense of satisfaction he had never experienced on Virelia. For the first time, he understood that admiration, connection, and participation were as vital to life as observation and learning. Humans had taught him this, not through data alone, but through experience, laughter, and shared moments. And somewhere deep inside, Kale realized something even more profound. Humans were not merely subjects of study. They were companions, teachers, and perhaps the reason he had come to Earth at all. Outside, the city lights twinkled under the stars. Kale's thoughts lingered on the day's adventures, the bonds he had formed, and the lessons he had learned. He felt hope, hope for humanity, for the future, and for the extraordinary journey that awaited him. Yes, Kale whispered softly to himself, humans are truly remarkable. And I am proud to be a part of their world, even in the smallest way. As the night deepened, Kale drifted into sleep, his mind alive with dreams of future adventures, new experiments, and the endless potential of humans, creatures of resilience, creativity, and heart. Tomorrow, he knew, would bring more discoveries, and Kale was ready to embrace every single one.